1779. The American Revolution in the New York frontier is in full swing. General George Washington ordered a major offensive to neutralize the pro-British Iroquois tribes. Major General John Sullivan led 3,500 Continental troops on a scorched earth campaign in the Great Lakes and Genesee Valley region, destroying Iroquois villages, crops, and food stores. In retaliation to frontier attacks, Sullivan's army advanced in search of the Indian village called Little Beardtown, which is now present-day Leicester, New York. A scouting party was sent ahead to gather intelligence on the village. Lieutenant Thomas Boyd led 26 men, including Sergeant Michael Parker, on this mission. But as the sun rose on September 13, 1779, Boyd's men were ambushed by 400 Loyalists and Seneca warriors. In the ensuing battle, 14 of Boyd's men were killed. A few managed to escape, but Boyd, Parker, and an Oneida guide were captured. The guide was killed immediately. Boyd and Parker were taken to be interrogated by British and Mohawk leaders. After getting little information from them, the British major handed them over to the Seneca warriors. According to all accounts, they were led to this location. Boyd and Parker were then tied to this tree, and a ritual of vengeance commenced. When Sullivan's army arrived to the scene the next day, they were greeted with shock and horror. Boyd was mutilated methodically. His fingernails were ripped out. His nose and ears were cut off. His tongue was cut out. One of his eyes was gouged from its socket, and he was stabbed repeatedly. And in a final horrific act, Boyd's abdomen was cut open, and his intestines were pulled out and tied to the tree. Eyewitness accounts say that Boyd was then forced to walk around the trunk while unraveling his entrails. When he finally collapsed, his heart was torn out and he was decapitated, mounting his head on a pole. Sergeant Parker's headless body was also found at the location. It seemed that he was spared any extended agony. His head was never found. The bodies of the men were buried at the location until 1807. Grave robbers opened the grave and stole pieces of clothing and other relics from the remains. In 1841, the bodies were exhumed and reburied in an elaborate ceremony at Mount Hope Cemetery in Rochester. But in 1864, during the cemetery's expansion and renovation, the bodies were once more exhumed and inadvertently buried in a pauper's section of the cemetery. In 1903, the group Daughters of the American Revolution stepped in and had the remains, along with the guide and some of the ambush casualties, reburied in a place of honor at Mount Hope.